So we all know that before COVID, if you were on a skilled worker visa or a health and care worker visa as an immigrant, and then you wanted to take up additional work aside, the work you're doing for your main sponsor, you could only do up to 20 hours a week. And that extra 20 hours should be a job with the same occupation code. So if you're a nurse, you can only work extra 20 hours a week in another nursing job or nursing role. Then COVID came and then they needed more nurses, and then they scraped that off temporarily, and then they brought it back. And then sometime back in February 2023, they made some relaxations. And I did a video on this. So they were like, okay, so now if you are on a health and care worker visa, not just any skilled worker visa, if you're on a health and care worker visa, nurses, care assistants, medical laboratory, physiotherapists, doctors, whatever, so far as you're still working for your main sponsor, you could take up more than 20 hours a week in another job that also qualifies to get a health and care worker visa. So for instance, if you're a nurse, you could do more than 20 hours a week as a care assistant role. You could do that without updating your visa, right? But then they said if you wanted to do another job that did not qualify to get a health and care worker visa, but is on the shortage occupation, like let's say teaching, which is also on the shortage occupation list, but not under health and care worker visa, you could only do 20 hours a week extra, okay? And this is so long as you are still working for your main sponsor, right? Then at that time, February 2023, when they made this change, they said that on 27th of August 2023, they were going to update it or review it, and then we'll see what happens. As you all know, we are at the end of September 2023, so obviously there's been an update, and that's what I'll be sharing with you in today's video. So if you're interested, stay tuned. Stop that. Today's video, before I even start, let me give a big shout out to the sponsor of this video. So this video is proudly sponsored by TransferGo. Anytime I come here, it's because, I'm getting some sort of sponsorship from some of these companies that keep me going. And one of them is TransferGo. As you can see, I'm repping TransferGo today. TransferGo, if you're wondering what they are, if you're a stranger on this channel, is an international money transfer app that allows you to send money from the UK and other EU countries to over 34 different African countries. Did you hear me? To over 34 different African countries. Not loads of apps beats this. You can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, and many other African countries. If you haven't tried it, I don't know what you're waiting for. With TransferGo, in at most 30 minutes, the person is going to get the money, and your person gets the exact amounts that you're sending. And as you send the money, you can actually track the transfer to see whether the person has gotten it, where it is in the, the whole transfer process. It's very easy, hassle-free, very convenient. And what I love about them is their customer support. If you should have a problem and then you contact them, they are very prompt, they are very quick to respond to your query and attend to you and sort everything out for you. They are authorized by the UK Financial Conduct Authority. TransferGo is currently being used by over 5 million users worldwide. And when you check Trustpilot.com, they are rated the best money transfer app. Yes, the best money transfer app on Trustpilot.com. You can download TransferGo for free, whether you use an Android or you use an iOS, and I'll leave the link in the description, okay? The amazing thing is that TransferGo is giving unlimited £20 reward if you transfer or refer a friend. So when you use the app, you can actually generate your own referral code from the app or generate a referral link and then share to your friends. And if these friends that you refer are able to send about £100, in the first 6 months between two countries, you are gifted unlimited £20 reward. So you can imagine, the more friends you invite, the more money you get. You don't have to be registered as an influencer for them or blah blah. You get the money, okay? I love TransferGo and I recommend TransferGo to you if you're in the UK or any EU country and you're willing to transfer money to friends and family in Ghana, Nigeria, or other African countries, okay? They are rated the best transfer company on Trustpilot.com, and I'm privileged to be associated with this brand. Thank you so much, TransferGo, for sponsoring today's video. So now, when you check gov.uk, the part that talks about taking up additional work, let's see what they are saying and let me explain what this means. So now, when you go to taking on additional work, it says that you can do additional paid work on a health and care worker visa as long as you are still doing the job that you are being sponsored for. You can also do unpaid voluntary work. If you complete your GP training, you can do 4 months of additional paid work. I think these are for the doctors, okay? They said you may need to apply to update your visa to do additional paid work, but this will depend on the type of work that you are doing and the hours you are going to work. So if you're on a health and care worker visa, now from the 27th of August, these are the changes, right? You can still do some hours, okay, and you can still do voluntary work, but the number of hours you can do and whether or not you need to update the home office on this work that you are doing depends on the kind of job and the number of hours that you're intending to do. So listen, work you can do without updating your visa. These ones you don't have to inform your manager, you don't have to inform your employer, you don't have to inform home office. It says you can work up to 20 hours a week in another job without updating your visa if it's either 1, in the same occupation code at the same level as your first job, 2, in a shortage occupation. So let's say as a nurse, you can take up additional 20 hours a week if the job has the same occupation code. So that's it, if it's like another nursing job, because like obviously the only job that has the same occupation code as a nurse is a nursing job, right? So you can take up additional work, let's say as an agency nurse, and you're only allowed to do 20 hours a week, okay? And for that one, you don't need to update your visa, you don't need to update the home office. Or you can do extra 20 hours a week if the second job is on the shortage occupation code, like teachers, you know, they need teachers as well. So you can do, let's say, teaching job for extra 20 hours a week, and then you will not need to update your visa, okay? So those are the only two categories, right? Now, they said if your additional job is more than 20 hours a week, you must update your visa. So it looks like now you cannot do more than 20 hours for another job if it's on the same occupation code or it's on a shortage occupation list. Now it's only 20 hours a week. So the bottom line is the 20 hours extra a week for a second employer is back. So guys, be very careful. They said that if your additional job is 20 hours or less a week, you will need to update your visa if your job is not in the shortage occupation and is either in a different occupation code from your first job or in the same occupation code as your first job but at a different level. So now, if whether you're doing 20 hours a week or less, you will need to update your visa if the job you are doing is not on the shortage occupation. So that's the main thing, is not on the shortage occupation and has like a different occupation code. So jobs that are not on the shortage occupation, I'm not sure, so I don't want to say anything that's an error. So if the second job, whether it's less than 20 hours a week or up to 20 hours a week, you will need to update your visa if that job is not on the shortage occupation list. And then if it's in the same occupation code as your first job but at a different level. So this one is a bit tricky. And if it's the same occupation code but a different level, maybe you cannot work extra hours if it's maybe a very, very higher rank. So now they're saying that you need to obviously update your visa if you have to do 20 hours or less for a job that is not on the shortage occupation, or a job that is even has a different occupation code or the same occupation code but at a different level. And to update your visa, you obviously need a new certificate of sponsorship from the second employer, and then you also need to include a letter with your application explaining that you want to change your current permission to stay. So it's like you're switching to a different employer altogether. So to stay out of trouble, and somebody may wonder why this is a big issue. So apparently they'll check the dates if you're applying for your indefinite leave to remain, and then they realize that you went against some of these rules or these restrictions on your visa, it can put you in trouble. Okay, so that's why you have to be mindful of these things. And then when you're picking extra shifts, you know you can work for so many hours with your main employer or your main sponsor without any issues. But mainly you are picking up a second job, okay, you have to know all these things. So now the bottom line is only 20 hours a week for your second employer, and it has to be in the shortage occupation code or as the same occupation code, okay, the same job that you're currently doing. Okay, so that's basically, but you can do voluntary work, you know, without being paid for that one. I'm sure you can do as much as you want. Okay, so basically that's it. So I'm going to show you the jobs that are on the shortage occupation on the screen so that you can see, and then you can check the shortage occupation code as well, the occupation code as well, so that you'll be well informed. Okay, so guys, I know we need money, especially, you know, with Christmas approaching, you'd like to send money back home, but be careful of these things so you don't fall into any trouble. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.